After the most recent bans and the death of Heartfire Hero, never forget, rabbits became quite the aggro threat on the best of one ladder, and today in this video I want to find out if they can still get it done in the Edge of Eternities meta. Alright, today doing something very simple, going to find out if rabbits are still competitive on the best of one ladder, going to talk very briefly about the deck and then hop into some games. Can't believe I said that. So, looking at the list, it's very simple. Our first column over here, we have all of our threats. These are basically going to create a bunch of rabbit creatures that are either going to grow very big or frog warriors that'll grow very big, and then of course, slam the opponent's face. They are going to be able to do that with the support of the next column, which features a whole bunch of lords. We got the Valley Quest Caller giving +1/+1 to all of our rabbits, birds, and mice, but it's just the rabbits that we care about. Phineas is going to give +1/+1 counters to our creature tokens and our rabbits whenever Phineas attacks. Very powerful effect. And then Warren, War Leader, is going to have the ability to do a bunch of stuff. It can create an offspring if you're flooding out with a bunch of mana. It can create 1/1 white rabbit creature tokens, and it can also give +1/+1 to attacking creatures. So overall, a very powerful card. Then, of course, we have a little bit of support to help us get the game plan done. We have Season of the Burrow, which going to basically do a whole bunch of stuff. It could create 5 1/1 rabbit tokens if you want. It can create exile up to 2 target non-land permanents. Or it can return a 3 CMC creature from the graveyard to the battlefield, or it can do some of these in any kind of combination. This card, pretty bonkers, but we're only playing one copy of it because it is expensive. Of course, we're playing a white deck, so why not play Sheltered by Ghost, a pretty nutty aura that is going to allow us to exile a card and also give our creature protection in the form of Ward 2. And then the only new card from Edge of Eternities that made its way into this Rabbits deck is Lumen class Frigate. Other decks are playing Anthem of Heroes, I think. It's a 2 CMC Selesnya aura enchantment, not aura, enchantment that gives +1/+1. I don't want to craft that card, so instead I thought, why not throw Lumen class Frigate into the deck? It is a new card. We get to play it a little bit. I'm sure it'll be very easy to station up with this deck, and you never know, we might actually get up to +12 in some situations where we might need a flying lifelinker to either stay alive or to end the game. So that is the game plan. Now, rabbits, I think, are going to be pretty powerful. The reason maybe you haven't been seeing rabbits so much on the ladder is because the Selesnya mana base took quite the hit with rotation. We lost the fast land, and we did not get a shock land. So we are playing some questionable lands, kind of. We are playing the Lupin Flower Village and also the Oak Hollow Village. Both of these create colored mana. They come in untapped, but they can only cast creature spells. So it kind of restricts the deck to not wanting to play too many non-creature spells. Then we're playing the stuff that you would expect. Starting Town, Cavernous Souls work very well in aggro decks and in tribal decks. Playing 3 copies of Hushwood Verge, we should be able to turn on the second white mana producing source with the amount of basic forests and basic plains that are in the deck, and then a single copy of Restless Prairie because, well, sometimes you need a 3/3 creature to end the game after a board wipe. So that's the deck. It looks sweet. Not much else to say about rabbits. We're going to go ahead and start some games. I didn't want to say hop into games again. I nearly did, and then I messed it up. Whatever. Let's go and check out some games. All right, so we got some rabbit action against Dana over here, and our opening lands look pretty good. We have great turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. My goodness, this is going to be a very good opening hand. So, probably one of our most powerful cards, Valley Might Caller. It is not a rabbit. Oh, now unfortunately, we're not going to put this out. We'll have a chance to put it out in the future. Very, very powerful card. Every time a rabbit or another frog comes in, so it also triggers on subsequent Might Callers, enters the battlefield, this gets bigger. Now, why do you want to play this deck? You want to play this deck because of this. Right here, what I'm going to do. Put in 3 1/1 tokens. Phineas attacks, and when Phineas attacks, it puts +1/+1 tokens or counters on each token. It is an absolutely insane 1/2/3 punch. This would have been a 5/5. This doesn't get, it's each other creature. So Phineas stays as a 1/1, or 2/2 rather, but these all grow to 2/2s, and the unit deck just has no chance to keep up with this amount of damage. We're going to put in 6 7 damage on this turn, and we essentially had lethal on the following turn. In fact, we could have put out the Lumen class next turn with the pop hatch and stationed it up to get +1/+1 on everything. So you can see how just absolutely bonkers powerful this deck can be right off the hop. Why? Game number 1 going nice and smoothly. We'll see if we can keep climbing up this diamond ladder. Truthfully, I have not really been playing. We get to go first again. Wow. I haven't been playing very much. Things get a little bit busy when you're not on vacation and you have regular working schedules. So after climbing all the way up to diamond with the Simic deck, which I got to talk about that deck in a second. After doing that, took a little bit of an easier break. I think I'm going to go out with the Valley Quest Caller because it's a 2/3. 2/3 is a little bit more durable than a 2/2. Yeah, over there. I don't want to attack in because I really don't want to trade the Grease Wrench with the Goblin. But yeah, after playing the Simic deck for a little while, grinding through Platinum, I just took it nice and easy and haven't really played too much. But kind of going to get back to it, try to record some videos and see where that leads me. The Simic deck. Oh my god, the Simic deck. You guys, I gotta say hello and welcome. The last video I was just talking about, oh, I reached 500 subscribers and boom, suddenly the channel just hit a nice algorithm burst and lots of impressions went on to that last video that I put out. Tons of people joining up. We rocketed up to nearly 700 subscribers by this point. So I gotta say thank you to all the new people. I really appreciate it. I mean, it's unbelievable to see that kind of channel growth so suddenly. But I have to imagine that kind of stuff happens in waves, and you know, I just got blessed or lucky with the algorithm at that point. So it would be nice if you are seeing this video, if you could continue to support this guy over here and his goal of reaching further. It would be fantastic. All right, gotta get my head back in this. Now they have a Screaming Nemesis. The Screaming Nemesis is a bit of a problem. Ooh, I like that card, but the cool thing about Burrow Guard Mentor is that little icon right there, Trample. And when we have trample damage, we are able to slam over the Screaming Nemesis. So we're not going to be doing 7 damage to the Screaming Nemesis. We'll be doing 3 damage, which means that they won't be able to get rid of our Burrow Guard Mentor. Wow, the opponent just had enough with the rabbits and threw it in. Ooh, next turn would have been pretty good. We throw out the Lumen, we crew it up with probably one of the Valley Quest Callers, and I can't imagine myself not just completely swinging in at that point. Keep going. Wow. It's amazing the things that the sounds that my tongue is able to produce at times. You know, you hit record and you just start going, and suddenly your tongue is doing whatever it seems to want to do. It really gets out of control. So our opponent is going first for this one. We'll see how the rabbits do when they are not on the play. I have a feeling that the advantage rabbits have on the play is probably a little bit absurd. Should be able to compete though. Now we are a little bit land heavy. We don't want to see any more lands. This deck is playing a lot of lands. It is playing 24 lands. We do have some expensive cards though. We have the 4 CMC Rabbit. We also have the 5 CMC Season of the Burrow. So lots of very high, expensive powered cards. Alright, we'll start off with the Seasoned Warren Guard, which is a pretty good blocker against the Stadium Headliner over here. They're going to be trying to mobilize some creatures in on our face. I have to imagine this might be like an Arabella deck, which is such a cool deck, and that brings me to another idea, or another point. Please let me know any decks that you want to see, or even any cards that you specifically want to see. Almost 200 comments came out on the Simic counter +1/+1 counters deck that I put out, and I try my best to reply to every single person that's responding in those comments. If you comment something, I'll answer you, hopefully. Unfortunately, the opponent had the Burst Lightning to stop our blocker, but yeah. But please let me know if there are any cards that you want to see built around. Somebody recommended Twitching Doll, and it's a card that I I gotta say, like, there are so many cards in Standard, and Wizards is putting out so many cards that even myself, somebody who is trying to produce content for this game, who's trying to look at tons of different decks, there are so many cards that completely fly over my, or under my radar, fly over my head. I don't even notice them, and it's simply because the release schedule that's going on with Standard and Wizards these days is just so accelerated that so many cards are going to slip under my radar. So, if there are cards that you want to see some deck build-arounds, especially once I hit Mythic, I'm going to start messing around with weirder stuff. I'm not going to try as hard as I do when I'm climbing the regular ladder. I think that's a pretty normal approach that I take when I'm making these videos. Yeah, just recommend stuff. And I guess this is probably a good point. I've been thinking about when I want to mention the Discord. There is a Discord, and the Discord is getting more and more active every day. We do get people, it's not popping off like with hundreds of messages, but we do have some good conversations over there. So if there are some things that you want to recommend, or just come over and hang out, there's lots of topics that are going on and being discussed, but you can jump in there, you can recommend decks, you can give me some suggestions about stuff that you want to see on the channel. I guess that's enough pitching. The opponent's playing the slowest mobilized deck over there, so it kind of encouraged me to start rambling on. I do like what the opponent is actually up to. The opponent has the Shocking Sharpshooter, and the Shocking Sharpshooter mixed with Mobilize is a pretty cool little thing. Of course, you want to play, or some people play, Impact Tremors with the with Mobilize, and of course that allows pings from every creature that enters the battlefield, right? Every time something enters, it deals 1 damage to your opponent. But with the Shocking Sharpshooter, it gives you that same effect, but also provides a body and reach. I kind of like that idea. Ooh, they go out with a War Leader's Call, so the opponent is actually pinging me for 2 in addition to attacking with 2/2s with their Stadium Headliner. So that's a pretty good threat from the opponent. In fact, I might be in a bit of trouble here, especially how I'm drawing. Let's put out the Beauregard Mentor, and I think it's probably best for me to get rid of something, but I don't know what I want to get rid of. Do I want to get rid of the War Leader's Call, or do I want to get rid of the Shocking Sharpshooter? I think it's probably the Sharpshooter, simply because it's going to be doing the same effect as the War... But the War Leader's Call is getting +1/+1. Holy moly. It's... you know what? It actually probably is the War Leader's Call in the end. And I'm going to attack in for 3. I'm going to gain some life while I can, because there's a possibility that this poor rabbit is not going to survive this turn. I wonder how many times I call these rabbits mice. When I went into this video, I thought in my head, don't call them mice, don't call them mice, don't call them mice, don't be a dummy. Okay, they come swinging in. I think I'm blocking. I don't know what they could have. They could have a pump spell. They could have the Boros 2CMC1 that I'm blanking on. It'll give +3/+3. There it is, Frontline Rush. So they are going to try to trade with that, which I'm kind of fine with. We're gaining life. We're gaining a lot of life now. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature raccoon you control that enter this turn. Okay. I think I'm fine with that. That's going to give a... right? Hang on. I got to make sure. I don't use Oakwood or Oak Hollow Village very much. Put a +1/+1 counter on each rabbit you control that entered the battlefield this turn. This is a rabbit that entered this turn. I'm willing to pay 1 life to put that up to a 4/4. I will attack in. I'm going to attack in with both because I'm going up to 11 life. And that's a pretty good position. I don't think I care about... You know what? I am going to do that. I'm going to do that because there's a possibility that I'm going to put out 10 power next turn with the Season of the Burrow. I might just do 1/1/1/1/1/1/1/1s, and that'll be a ton of stuff for this. Yeah. Okay, we're not going to do... We're going to do this, plus this, plus this, plus this. A little bit less fun, but it's fine. So target non-land permanent. Oh, they're 3. Oh, yeah, they're even bigger than I expected because of that. That's just a blowout. Okay, we'll keep this on top, scry through everything. The opponent is donezo, but we will go through the whole motions of making sure that they're dead. Tap these, attack in with tons of power. How much power did we end up having there? 3, 7, probably 13 damage, I think. I had fun. Did you have fun? I did. All right. That's 3 games, and that's 3 wins with this rabbit deck. Man, oh man, rabbits are awesome. Is Yosholta a rabbit? I'm kind of wondering if I tilted anybody with that very last comment. I'm sorry if I did. I'm assuming that I probably mispronounced the name, and in addition, that character's probably not a rabbit, but it has rabbit ears or cat ears. I don't know. I picked this because I thought it looked like a rabbit. Speaking of rabbits, our opponent also on rabbits, Hinterland Sanctifier, and we may have met our match. Whoa! That's the most aggressive Sheltered by Ghost I have ever seen in my life. I love it, opponent. Okay. I think I'm in trouble here. I'm going to go out with a Lumen class frigate. When they're doing this, I kind of assume that they probably have another Sheltered by Ghost. And we miss. Oh my god, we miss on our lands. That's hurts. Okay. It's fine. So we get to put out the quest caller. We'll crew up the frigate, but they are actually going to be getting a 4/4 Hinterland Sanctifier next turn because they are going to be turning on their Leyline of Hope. They wasted 3 mana though, so it's possible that they're flooding out. They're going to get a 6/6, and I'm in trouble here. I am definitely in trouble. So I could hit them down a little bit, and if I hit them down, if I put out the quest caller, I can hit them for 4, which makes them a little bit less powerful. I think that's actually probably prudent, and I get a scry. Bang. Okay. I think I'm at a point where I'm just kind of hoping that they are actually not... They're kind of like struggling with lands. Or not struggling with lands, struggling with their draw. Ooh, getting the +1 there puts them just in a good enough position. Now I think actually it's just kaputs. We do get to draw, or get to gain a little bit of life here. That's good news. We'll take out the Essence Channeler. They have protection. Ouch. Okay. Ouch, ouch, ouch. This is a 12, so I would have to tap both of my creatures to activate that and throw it in front of the Essence Channeler. Okay, so I guess it's probably just GG at this point. I think I'm going to do this. Getting stuck at 2 lands, the opponent had what they needed. We're not going to swing in because this needs to jump in front of the Essence Channeler, but cool, cool, cool. Hey, oh, wow. Xaxes. Good on you, opponent. Okay. Hey, if you're going to lose something, it's going to be life gain, right? It's still a powerful archetype, no doubt about that. All right, that ends our winning streak, but it's okay. We'll get back to it. With the speed that these games are going at, this might end up being a sub 30-minute video. It's kind of crazy how fast everything goes. Okay, hey, and this is kind of good, I suppose, because we do have the situation where we have a Cavern of Souls, and we have to decide what creature type to determine with the Cavern of Souls. Now, looking at the hand, this is a Rabbit Soldier, this is a Frog Warrior. I tend to go with Warrior in this case because the Paw Patch Recruit is also a Warrior. Frog is not going to really help us, at least by picking Warrior here. We do get the dual type. What I would like to pick is, of course, Rabbit, but in this situation, the Valley Might Caller is just a little bit too valuable, and we are striking out on our lands. The last couple of games is just 24 lands not working well. I did admittedly keep a 2-land hand, but it's a pretty nice looking 2-land hand. I don't think it was necessarily wrong. Unfortunately, turn 2 Tifa Lockhart might actually just kill us this turn. They got the Bristly Bill. If they have a fetch land, they don't. Okay. Still, 4 damage. Well, 4 damage is not so much more damage. Still, I think. Okay, well. All right. We'll try it. Here comes the protection spell. They always have it, right? They always have. What is the. Defend the rider. Okay, the opponent using a cool protection spell at the very least. And I think I'm fine to attack in. They don't trade the Bristly Bill here. It's way too valuable. Gain 3 life, do a little bit of damage to their face, and again, hope that they stumble ever so slightly with their land drops. They don't. Opponent with the style over here, though. Got to appreciate some cool. Man, I don't think I've seen this land with the little guys climbing up. It's very cool. Okay, we get hit by for another 6. Very cool, very nice. If we get a land, okay, it is a land. And so this time we can pick Rabbit. And I think, though, I'm going with Hop to It. Hop to It is going to pump up our Valley Might color. They're down to 1 card, so I'm kind of in a position where I'm expecting them to maybe not have as much damage output that a typical landfall deck might have. And these are good 1/1 blockers, especially on the non-trampling cards that they have over here. Next turn, we can potentially go out with a Warren War Leader or all kinds of stuff. They can attack. I'm fine. Oh, wow. That is so fine. I really wanted to be able to. Oh, I couldn't. I was considering this the Burrow card. Okay, so I think we use the Valley Might, or the mana from the Caverner's Soul to put out the Valley Might color, of course, and then we put out a 7/7. And then we keep smacking face. Attack all? Attack all, right? Yeah. Cool. I can't believe that ended up going my way. The opponent stumbled, I stumbled, but in the end, rabbits are a little bit better than landfall. Confirmed? I think so. Game number 6. 2 more to go. We're pumping along nicely. It's going well. Why do you think rabbits have fallen out of favor? Is it simply because rabbits are uninteresting? I do know that it's not the most creative or coolest deck. Everybody knows that. I think this land is actually pretty good to keep over a basic forest. We'll do like this. So maybe it is the case that it's just like rabbits, whatever. Rabbits do, they're one trick, they're simple to play. But I really have not seen them on the ladder whatsoever. Our hand is looking pretty good. We do have the 1-2-3 punch that I like to have. If the opponent puts out like a turn 2 Tifa after this, Tifa, I always have to say it twice now, thanks to that one commenter. You're out there, and if you're seeing the videos, hey man, good on you. You got in my head. You're living here rent-free now. We get to do this. We get to attack him with a bunch of stuff. They put out a Hydra, not a Tifa. Just as powerful, just as dangerous, and actually probably more dangerous. This thing is absolutely ludicrous, right? Mossborn Hydra. I've seen some people say as soon as they see a Mossborn Hydra, they just auto-concede. Whoa, with the Spring Bloom Druid. This card, I think this is a must-play in the landfall decks. This card just always pops off every single time. Now they have a 16 power Hydra out of seemingly nowhere. That being said, the opponent's not in the best position. Now, I don't block here because there is no pump spell for 1 mana that gives them 4 damage. I think they could have gotten a little bit more, but not the full 4. So that means that I put out this card or this card. What am I doing? This ends up being more net damage because this is +5 damage versus +3 damage on the Might Caller. So we throw out this thing. They block a 3/3 because that's the best thing for them to block, and then they die. Cool. Go rabbits, yes. What are you blocking? There you go. Bung, 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 bung. Hopping over crazy Yvonne. Why not? Keep climbing. Our 7th and final game against Ab. Did you watch K-pop Demon Hunters, by the way? And I bring that up, if you've seen K-pop Demon Hunters, there's a character named Abs, a fan favorite, of course, I suppose, for some people. Yeah. Probably not related whatsoever, but still fun to mention. Go out with that. If you haven't seen K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix, it's pretty sweet. We watched it a couple of weeks ago and had a pretty good time with it. Alright, the opponent on a turn 1 Llanowar Elves, they didn't have a turn 3 essential play, so that makes me, I don't know, I kind of want to kill the Llanowar Elf, but at the same time I'm a little bit scared of them having some kind of interaction for the Sheltered by Ghost if I put it on the Might Caller. Kind of seems like they didn't have that. Okay, well that's going to be a much better target for me to take care of. Okay, so a little bit awkward that I'm going to be using my mana inefficiently this turn, but I think the Temur Battlecrier is an absolute must kill. If you're not familiar with this card, during your turn, spells you cast cost one less generic to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. If they have that on the field, things just kind of end for us. They have an anemic turn 4, and they play out just the Esper Origin spell, and that's not going to help them out, and they throw in the towel. So Rabbit's getting it done, only dropping one game, right? Only one game to the life gain deck, and we kind of had a bad draw on that one. Man, Rabbits are sweet. Okie dokie, well, what is there really to say about Rabbits? It's still powerful. It is still a good deck that you can use to climb the ladder. If this is a deck that you had crafted previously in past metas and you don't really want to use your rare or mythic wildcards to craft anything new right now, because right now the meta, I think, is pretty in flux. It seems like every day I'm seeing the new most powerful deck on YouTube, but maybe the actual most powerful deck is this old classic Rabbits from Bloomburrow mostly. So I think if you were looking to craft something new and you like aggro and you like tribe, Rabbit's probably pretty well situated. If you have most of these cards from the past, you know, if you have a couple of Phineases, if you have your Valley Might Callers and your Paw Patch Recruits, these are the rare cards in the deck. I think it could be a good craft overall. Lumen Class Frigate impressed me when it was played. I didn't really see it that much, but I think it is a fine card to have in the deck. If I had a change, I think I would probably do something like this. I think having 3 Warren War Leader is a little excessive, although it is a very powerful card. The opponents are dead by turn 4 most of the time, and I think a Phineas on turn 2 going into a turn 3 hop to it is just like one of the best things that you can be doing in Standard right now. Like, how much power are you generating? You're generating 6 power for 3 mana in a way if you're doing this, however you want to kind of break it down in your head. It's just a very powerful play. So I think going up 1 more Phineas, 2 is not enough. I want to have 3. Warren War Leader, we'll cut that. I like having 1 Season of the Burrow. In fact, I wouldn't even hate doing something like this. 2 Season of the Burrow, 1 Warren War Leader, because I'm much more impressed by Season of the Burrow. I think this is one of those cards that just has such amazing flexibility that in the end you could really crawl your way back in a game if you are casting this out for 5 on turn 5. Anyways, that's the deck. Please let me know what you think about Rabbits, and if you enjoy playing against Rabbits or you absolutely detest seeing these cute little things hopping towards you. I think that's like the 5th time I've said it. That's the end of this one. It is the weekend. This video probably coming out on Saturday. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I look forward to some further future videos. Take care for now. Catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.